Thanks for joining us on World Now. Let's begin from South Korea, where 21 people have been killed by torrential rain and thousands evacuated from their homes due to the rains that caused landslides and flash floods. According to a local news agency, 10 persons are missing and 9 injured. 16 of the deaths recorded were in a northern province, which sits along the eastern portion of the Korean peninsula. Most there were killed by landslides. About 8,300 households in 4 provinces are experiencing power outages. The United States National Weather Service says around 27 million people are forecast to experience extreme hot temperatures in the coming days. The nation reportedly has an estimate of about 700 deaths each year from heat-related causes. This pressure from heat waves is coming at the same time Europe is experiencing the same weather condition. There is more in this report.
In the United States, a strong heat wave is forecast to intensify this weekend, with warnings issued across the Southwest. Heat advisories issued Friday night affected at least 113 million Americans from Florida, Texas to California, up to the northwestern states of Washington. The use of air conditioners in Texas has topped the state's previous record for power consumption as people try to keep cool from intense heat. Around 27 million people are forecast to experience temperatures over 43 degrees Celsius in the coming days. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 700 people are estimated to die each year from heat-related causes in the United States. The U.S. National Weather Service says the heat is as a result of an upper-level ridge of high pressure, which typically brings with it warmer temperatures.
Let's talk with the continuation of extreme heat waves in southern Europe. Red alerts have been issued in 16 cities across Italy. The alerts for the coming days, which indicate risks even for healthy people, apply to tourist hotspots, including Rome, Florence, and Bologna. More high temperatures are expected in Europe next week as another heat wave approaches. The European Space Agency says Italy, Spain, France, Germany, and Poland may see extreme conditions. Periods of intense heat occur within natural weather patterns, but globally they are becoming more intense, lasting longer due to global warming. Let's bring you update on the Russian-Ukraine crisis. The Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed to the Wagner Group fighters that a senior mercenary named Andriy Troshev is now to be the new commander of the private military group. President Putin seems to have created a split between senior fighters from the Wagner mercenary group and its leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, since a failed rebellion by the Wagner group collapsed at the end of June. According to Kommersant, Putin told dozens of Wagner mercenaries in the meeting that among the multiple employment choices offered to them, one included them in continuing to fight under their direct commander, a man who goes by the call sign Sidoy, meaning man with gray hair. In New York, a Long Island man has been charged with murder in the deaths of 3 of the 11 victims in a string of killings known as the Gilgo Beach murders. 59-year-old Rex Heuermann, who is an architect, has lived for decades across a bay from where the remains were found. He's charged with killing Melissa Bethlemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. Officials say he's also considered the prime suspect in the death of a 4th woman whose body was found and hidden in thick underbush along a beach highway. Mr. Heuermann's lawyer has entered a not guilty plea on his behalf, but the presiding judge, Richard Ambro, ordered him jailed without bail, citing extreme depravity of his alleged conduct.
It's creepy, really. I mean, if you look at the house, I mean, it kind of stands out, but it's creepy. It's weird.
It's a quiet town. Everyone knows each other. Nothing really goes on, so it was just surprising to hear and kind of scary.
He was very quiet, dark, kept to himself, and extremely intelligent. Very smart.
Really what stood out is his his attention to details. He was very knowledgeable, very detail-oriented. I still remember his handshake when we met. Very strong.
Wow.
A very strong handshake. It was like you were shaking like a very thick piece of marble. That's how strong his hand was.
Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives has narrowly approved the passage of the defense policy bill, ending uncertainty about its fate after Republicans pushed through a series of conservative policy amendments on abortion, diversity, equity and inclusion programs, as well as gender transition procedures. The annual National Defense Authorization Act, which sets policy for the Defense Department, was cleared by the House in a near party line vote. 4 Republicans voted against the bill, while 4 Democrats voted for it to rescue the defense measure from failure.
On this vote, the yeas are 219 and the nays are 210. The bill is passed without objection, and motion to reconsider this is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the question on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal, which the Chair will put de novo. The question is on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the Chair, the ayes have it, and the journal stands approved.
Meanwhile, Israeli President Isaac Herzog has described the approval by authorities in Sweden for the public burning of the Torah as an act of pure hate. The planned desecration of a Hebrew Bible and Christian Bible outside the Israeli embassy in Stockholm comes days after a man set fire to pages of the Holy Quran, Islam's book, drawing widespread condemnation from Muslims worldwide. Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen urged the Swedish authorities to prevent the planned act. He says by preventing the occurrence, the Swedish government would send a powerful message to the world that Sweden stands firmly against religious intolerance and that such acts have no place in a civilized society. The conditions placed by Syria in an offer to allow aid keep reaching rebel-held territories have been described by the United Nations as unacceptable. Syria's ambassador to the United Nations says his government would let aid continue entering Syria through a crossing from Turkey. Members of the United Nations Security Council had earlier failed to reach an agreement to keep the border crossing open. Some 4.1 million people in northwest Syria depend on the aid deliveries. And protest against the abduction of a former finance minister in Libya has led to the closure of the 3 Libyan oil fields. The oil ministry says the closures could lead to a declaration of force majeure. A statement by the ministry is calling on all parties not to allow their disputes affect energy production and exports, as such closures could severely affect the North African country's vital oil sector and efforts to stabilize crude production. The former finance minister, Faraj Boumata, was reportedly kidnapped after arriving at Mitiga Airport on Tuesday.